Running a home service business is hard. So how is it that some people make it look so easy? Well, we'll tell you. This is the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. It's always good to hear the wins that successful contractors have. But have you ever thought that the best advice would be to hear about the speed bumps they encountered, the mistakes they've made along the way? We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We want you to be successful and avoid the mistakes others have made. Let's get this party started. Welcome to the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. Now your host, Justin Deese.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Freedom Blueprint Podcast. We're hanging out today with Josh and Tersh from Service Business Mastery Podcast and Trade Automation Pros, which, by the way, guys, those hats are sweet. I love the slogan. I'd tap that. That's, a little tongue-in-cheek. I like it. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having us.
It's good to be on.
Shoot, yeah. So let's talk about all the things, man. You guys have got some cool stuff coming up. So you guys have your Tap Into the Future conference coming up. That is going to be October 3rd through the 5th in beautiful Savannah, Georgia.
Yes, sir.
And you guys are going to be attending a Savannah Bananas game too, right?
Yep.
It'll be my first. Tersh has probably been to 50 of them. This is going to be my and my wife's first, and we're bringing the kids out too. So it'll be their first game they've ever seen. I've seen plenty of clips, but I'm excited to see them in person.
Yeah,
it's exciting to see what they've done. As a baseball person, a lot of time, or really a sports fan, a lot of times when there's a twist on anything like that, people get weird about it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. It's so cool.
There
cool
was definite pushback in Savannah originally when they first announced the name. Oh, I thought there was going to be riots in the street because they're like, you're ruining baseball for Savannah. And now even those same people are like, this is the greatest thing ever. Like, because the old team that was there before, the Savannah Sand Gnats, they were a feeder team to one of the MLB teams. I don't even remember which one it was, but they couldn't keep 400 people in the seats. And so then they brought in, I guess, like 3,000 extra seats to the stadium since the Bananas have been there. And they're sold out. We were there on Saturday night. They had 5,000 people in attendance, and it was raining. And so, like, nothing's deterring people. It's pretty wild experience, especially watching the Bananas from the time they started. We bought season tickets before the first game, and it was a leap of faith. And after we bought the season tickets, then they were like, people were getting really upset, and I was like, oh man, maybe we made a mistake here. But we became friends with Jesse and Jared, one of the founders and the president, and ever since then we've just been fans, and it's a really cool experience.
Yeah, it's definitely fun to watch. I met Jesse via a Zoom call. It's probably been 6 or 7 years ago, and I think they were just getting started. And I just remember him having that yellow outfit on and thinking, what in the world is this dude doing?
Everywhere.
Now you don't see an interview where he's not wearing it, and he's like, that's how you
I think he had a video with his closet, and it's literally like all yellow suits.
Yep. I heard something recently with him that said he was talking about training, and he was talking about you train dogs. It's like you train dogs, you teach people. Like it was a pretty cool.
That's funny.
It's pretty neat to understand the leadership behind what he's done. It's easy to look at it now and you're like, oh yeah, it's goofy baseball, but like the things that dude has done to even get it there, smart guy.
If it's normal, you do the exact opposite. That's his whole thing. He's actually the reason why I started wearing 3-piece suits. I was interviewing him years ago, and I asked him, I said, if you started a plumbing company tomorrow, what would you do different to make yourself stand out from everyone else? He said, well, obviously I'd have all my technicians wearing white tuxedos. I was like, you do realize that a plumber is going to be playing with poo, right? He's like, yeah, I'd have 6 extra sets of white tuxedos in their van so they could change between calls if they needed to. I was like, I mean, it draws attention for sure. And he's like, is it normal? I was like, nope. He said, then that's why we're going to do it. I was like, okay, touche.
Pipe dope and blue glue, I think would.
Well, I find, and I think it really ties into the event well, having an experience at the Savannah Bananas, because we talk about everything that Tersh and I share with Trade Automation Pros, and even on a lot of our podcast guests, are all about what's coming, what's the future going to look like, how do we prepare for that? Because we all know costs since 2020, not just for COVID, but new refrigerants, new equipment, specifications, all these other things, all the costs have just continued to go up. And now we're at a point, at least in 2025, when this is being recorded, that people can't afford a normal system change out. They can't get approved for financing. The market's got a weird thing. Like, you look at the stock market and it says everything's good, but there's a lot of people not moving homes. There's more homes on the market than there are buyers by like the largest amount in 30 years or some ridiculous number like that. And we have to learn, it's like, I told you guys I was on a call right before this talking with someone they got 8 different locations in South Florida, and they're growing like a weed, but they do a lot of stuff manually. And they're like, I just don't even know where to start with this stuff. They're doing the same tedious processes that we've been doing for years. So we just add more people to the mix and keep adding people and admin and overhead costs. And then we buy another software and another one. These softwares don't talk to each other. They're in their little silo. And it just never, we wonder why, man, well, the software is supposed to do this thing, but I want it to do another thing. And we just nothing connects. And it's just disjointed. And then you got to have like an IT specialist to figure out all this stuff on your payroll, which is, again, another expense. And it just becomes like our overheads are bloated, and we have the person that pays for that is the homeowner. And that's why our conversion rates are going down, and people aren't having as great of a year as they've had in the past. And the way to combat that is efficiency. And by looking internally and removing bottlenecks, so that way we can keep our prices competitive, so we can sell more jobs.
Yeah, and as much as it is the homeowner that pays for it, that's best case scenario. Typically, it's the owner, because they're not adjusting their price and watches their numbers well enough to know, hey, I added this one software. Well, that may not affect you all that much. When you add 7 of them and they're $700 a piece, next thing you know, you're like, holy crap, I got all this. Cash in it, and then somebody's got to learn how to do all those things.
The worst thing is
definitely the way to go.
Absolutely. The worst thing is we used to get pricing updates once a year. You remember we used to get you'd get the Excel spreadsheet emailed to you, and you're like, oh, this is daunting. I have to go through my price book and change all our prices. Well, now, I mean, 2021, 2022, those times, heck, up until even recently, I've seen where vendors are updating prices on a monthly basis. And if you
especially
don't
with the tariff stuff, like because tariffs go up and then all of a sudden they're down because it's a political thing. And it's like, to keep track of that, good luck.
Are vendors quick to go down with pricing?
No.
Once they raise it, it's really interesting. They raise it because of tariffs and scares of tariffs and all this kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden the tariffs go away, but the pricing never went back to pre-tariff level. If someone's got an answer for that one, I'd love to hear it.
To raise prices. Yeah.
Someone's pocketing that extra money.
So what's the okay? So let's talk about the event before we dig into trade automation. So this is the first time you guys are doing this event, right?
Yep. This exact event and the setup, the way that it is, it's just fresh for us this year.
So what was the guiding light? Like, what made you guys think we should do an event? Because as we all know, events are
stressful.
They're tough.
Yes.
Especially with especially with how many events there are. Because we're talking about the month of October or September. Like, even September's got Tommy's event, Pantheon. We got Service World Expo. We got, like, Tersh and I are literally gonna be at 5 or 6 different events in the month of October alone. Justin will probably see you at most of those. Event season literally is like almost year round now. It's not like it used to be, where it was like September, October, and then like March and April. And the rest of the year you had off.
Honestly, the reason we picked October is because of the banana tickets. We were able to purchase the entire deck in right field, or I'm sorry, first baseline, and so the only dates that we had available were the dates that we had the event. And so we knew that we really wanted to take advantage of the fact that we built this amazing relationship with the bananas and how they've done business so differently. We wanted to bring that into the event. And so we are going to make sure that like Friday night, we're going to do a mixer where we're just hanging out, chatting, talking to each other. After the mixer, we have some ghost tours and stuff like that to do. And then Saturday, we're going to go full blast at presentations, and they're all going to be interactive though. So what we don't want is people to just be bombarded with content and then never implement them. So then on Sunday, we're actually going to do speed dating, but for automations. And it's automations and AI. But we're going to actually implement the things that we're talking about on Saturday. And then Saturday evening, we're actually going to the Bananas game. We're all going to bus up together and ride over and then come back.
Yeah, and I think the Bananas...
So tell me more about the speed date thing. What do you mean by that?
It's going to be like, basically, we'll have... I don't even know how many tables there are. There's a bunch of tables there. But each table is going to have somebody there that's going to be like myself. We'll have a table. Josh will have a table, and we're going to talk about building out an automation that's more specific to, like, one of the ones that I have in my mind is going to be the project management for like Trello. So like every time you sell a job inside Service Titan, there's a gap between this job sold and then all the paperwork's completed. So we've built out Trello automations that track that whole process and notify the next person. So like, hey, is equipment ordered? Have we pulled a permit? All that stuff. So we're going to build out that whole automation in real time, in person at my table. And so maybe somebody gets there and they're like, this isn't really for me. And then they decide to move over to Josh's table, and Josh is building out his, marketing automation. And then, somebody else is building out a different automation, and people can move from table to table to build out these things.
So I want to say, when we had our event in May earlier this year, I got to see the Trello, like you showed me the Trello. Yeah. I'm going to say that's worth the price of going to be able to sit down with you and build that for any and every business. That was a slick automation that really took and filled in some gaps, and it was pretty awesome. It
is. And it's obviously that's an easy one. I mean, that's one that really can resonate with a lot of companies, but another one that can resonate with a lot of companies is warranty claims. Whenever we turn in warranty equipment or warranty parts, there's a gap from the time we've done the service call. Now we have to order the warranty part. Then we have to go make sure we return the warranty part. Oh, by the way, did we get credited?
Tracking progress on invoices. Yep.
Exactly. All of that stuff. And so like all of that can be built out inside of some sort of automation, whether it's Trello or Monday or whatever.
Yeah. And what we're hoping is, so like the different business facets. So like you guys had a conference on CFO, numbers, financials, accounting. Right. Everyone that's going to be there is going to want something a little different. Some people are going to be really interested in marketing automation. Some people are going to be interested in operational ones like Tersh is talking about. Some might be interested in something else. So the goal is to make so people can walk away, have something built out, or at least know how to build it out and be able to implement it by Monday morning. So that way it's done. And then just because like Tersh and I, like we've been doing automation for 7-8 years now with Zapier and other tools. Like these are building blocks. Like it's literally the conversation I just had is because he's like, it's overwhelming. I want to do so much. I don't know where to start. And that's literally the same conversation we have with everybody. Everyone wants everything implemented at once. No matter what you do, it's never going to happen unless you literally hire someone full-time to do it for you, which is expensive. But building blocks so you think differently. Because now the way Tersh and I think is if something comes through and we see a little bit of a roadblock, we're like, okay, we know this connects, we know this connects, we know this connects. I think we can build an automation for it. I'll give you an example. So we get thousands of images from clients every single month for our digital marketing company. And the problem is those images all come in with like a weird sequence of numbers and letters.jpg. It's not clear what's in the image unless you actually know. So like a ductless unit may be considered an AC unit by some people, right? Because just depending on where you're in the country, if you're overseas or whatever. So we have an automation. So every time a new file gets added into Google Drive, we run it through ChatGPT to analyze the image. ChatGPT updates based on a very specific prompt what's in the details of the image, so that way now the XF data of the image has the right information. Then we also update the file name, so that way when my web team, my Google Business Profile team, my SEO content team look at it, they know exactly what image is there based on just the file name. And then we have all the XF data, so that way the SEO value, the SEO juice, or whatever you want to call it, comes with that image, versus this long string of numbers and letters.jpg that does nothing for anybody. And so like little things like that, but that's a more advanced one because we're putting AI and doing a whole bunch of very serious prompting type stuff. But you have to be able to build something. You have to be able to think that way and know what these tools can do. Otherwise, you're going to just be like, I have no idea. Like, and that's where we started about a year and a half ago. We started our Skool course and community, was to get people to think differently. And that really ties into the Savannah Bananas too, because they think differently. The whole purpose of this is to think differently. Even the speakers we have Marcus Sheridan, who has been putting pricing on his website since 2012. Like online pricing has come to the trades in a hard way the last 4 or 5 years. He's been doing it for 13 years already, and he's written 3 books about it. He's going to be speaking at the event. We're going to be talking about email marketing automation because most contractors don't do a good job nurturing their list. And we have an expert that helps us with our emails and does a phenomenal job at writing that content and how to do that and how to leverage AI and automation to do that. That's the kind of stuff that we're going to be focused on the event, is thinking differently and making your business, using AI and automation to make this stuff better, not to remove the human element from it. It's to make it all better and enhance what your team is already doing.
Well, yeah. And when I think about automation too, I think, Josh, what you said, a lot of people think about replacing humans. Mm-hmm. And to me, I think it's not about replacing humans, but there's certain tasks that really, they don't take a lot of brain power. Nobody likes doing. They don't want to
do it anyways.
Let your team do the stuff that is revenue generating or on the phone with customers or whatever it is besides data entry.
Yes.
Well, we pay $20 to $25 an hour for a data entry person. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then all the manual text messages, Slack messages, team messages that we have to send to try to get updates on things versus having a centralized, like Tersh was talking about, the project and task management, where all of the comments, all of the communication goes on that card for that specific customer versus, shoot, somebody texted, oh, there's an email over here, and like trying to figure out where, like, our communication systems in the trades, and I remember this vividly from being in the trades, are a mess. We would have group text messages for all these different things, and I'm like trying to search my phone, like who said what, where, when, and it's just a mess. And doing that at scale, like you think of like a Tommy Mello of a company, like 1,000 people, like trying to manage that at scale is, you got to implement a lot of technology. And of course, he probably has people that literally do just that. But most companies never get to that size, so they're just stuck trying to figure it out themselves.
And I don't know very many people that are like, man, I cannot wait today to do data entry all day.
Yeah. There are people out there that enjoy that, but it's far and few between.
Well, and there are something, and so I know AI and automation take up like the core, because that's everyone wants that, right? You say AI and automation, like, please give it all to me. But there are things that Tersh and I have to delegate because there is no current system for us to use AI and automation, or it's just better for a human to do it. But there's a specific framework and process that we go through for people so they know what to do first, second, and third. Because a lot of times people start delegating stuff with a crappy process, or they automate a crappy process. And now they have a crappy automation or a crappy delegation. They don't have an optimized, systemized process to decide if they want to automate it or delegate it. So it's almost like an inverse relationship where they do the things backwards and it's because of speed. They're like, I just want to get this off my plate. I don't want to do it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to hear another question about it. Just do it for me. But do it for me doesn't take you from A to Z, so that way you can actually get a great outcome.
Not only that, there's a lot of times we'll talk to someone and they're like, yeah, it's not for me. I tried it. But what they tried is exactly what Josh just explained and described. And then they're like, yeah, I don't want to automate. Last time I automated, I had so many mistakes and errors and issues with my automations. It's like, yes, did you optimize the process prior to automating it? And they're like, no, we just automated it, just like Josh said. And I was like, well, there's the thing. Like, that's the issue that we're running into so many times is you need to optimize, automate, and then delegate.
And even with automation, it's not a set it and forget it, right? I mean, you got to kind of check in on it every now and again. Things change, sure. Links break. Things
That's a
update.
Big, oh, absolutely. Let ChatGPT update, and you're building out a bunch of stuff using ChatGPT. Like, you'll know instantly, or if you don't notice it, you're gonna get a lot of random things that you're like, that doesn't really make sense, because your prompt is completely different now than it was, 2 years ago. And I've done that myself. Like, we automate Google review responses. So replying back to Google reviews and using AI to do that. And if you do it with GPT-5 and you have the exact same prompt that you used whenever you had GPT 3.5, you're going to get drastically different responses, or review replies. And so it's just one of those things that once it's done, you're exactly right. You can't set it and forget it.
Here's a question about ChatGPT and AI in general. Prompt engineering is now a term that you hear pretty frequently.
Mm-hmm.
What, how important is that going to be in the future?
We did a presentation several years ago, and basically in the presentation we were like, all right, be prepared to hire a prompt engineer. Kids are going to go to school, to college for prompt engineering. That's changed a lot. Now it's sure like garbage in, garbage out, but at the same time, as long as you set up your core ChatGPT behind the scenes, I would guess, it knows your personality and it's going to give you results based on that more so than the exact prompt that you put in. Now, I will say, if you put a very elaborate prompt in there, you're more likely to get exactly what you're asking for.
Put like the do's and don'ts. Like, I have some of the prompts. I mentioned that image analysis thing. I got the prompt from someone else, and I looked through the prompt. This guy's a software engineer, so he's very thorough with that stuff. And I'm like, that's a damn good prompt right there. That's impressive. I am taking that with me. Thank you.
But the problem is if it's a task that's done a lot of times. I have an email analysis prompt, and if it's a super duper long prompt, first off, it's going to use up a lot of your computing power, your GPTs, and it's also going to be a lot slower. So some things are going to time out because, like inside Zapier, you have a certain amount of time frame for responses before it times itself out. So it's a balancing act. But in reality, like if you're more detailed and tell it exactly what you want, you're going to get exactly what you want out of it. It used to be very much like you had to use like the rice method or the, such and such method and then this method and tell it what it is and then ask for it to do this and that and the other. While that stuff still works, it's not required as much as it used to be.
Honestly, the ChatGPT and these tools, like a lot of times, so I've been doing these marketing thread posts, and something I shared with Tersh about just some stuff in Facebook algorithm that's kind of working right now. And every day at 8 o'clock in the morning, ChatGPT sends me this because there's a task function there where, like, so if you wanted to do the same thing at a certain interval, you can have it do the certain thing. But in order to get really good, like the first initial outputs I got, I didn't really train it on a lot of stuff. But then I had presentations, I had blog articles, I had videos on topics, like I had a lot of stuff. So I took the time to take all that information and train it. And that's really where I think some of the power is. Like, most companies have this stuff. They have some sort of policies, SOP. They have something somewhere on how to do a thing. Training it with that information makes it so much better. My outputs now are I still add a little bit to most of those, but it is mostly copy paste because the outputs are so much better now. And then having it ask you questions and taking 30 minutes to answer the questions or whatever that time period looks like. I've written some blog articles using Claude, and it's actually based on Marcus Sheridan's Endless Customers theory. And I answer the questions, and I make sure I'm thorough on the answers, and the outputs are really good. Like the article, because the last thing you want to do is put up a bunch of AI-generated sloppy crap. And that's what a lot of the internet is doing. Like I have a competitor that is putting up these 1,500 page websites in like 3 months, and I go through them and I'm looking at the blog posts, and I'm like, this is literally crap. It may work for a time period, but as soon as Google has a helpful content update and starts tweaking things, it's gonna drop drastically, because the blogs, like the titles don't even make sense. Like it was like AC repair in the city name. I won't give you the city because I don't want to make it obvious, but AC repair in a city, 10 proven experts. And then literally, so you think it's a top 10 list of that city, right? Because based on the title, it's literally like 10 tips. And I'm like, this don't even make sense. But that's what's happening. People are blindly putting a bunch of crap out thinking, oh, more is better. More is not better. It's not. It will never be better. Now there's probably a tipping point somewhere in there where putting out more is better, but not to the point of like just literally blindly throwing stuff on the internet. And so we're at that. We're going to be at that point, because there's going to be a lot more of that stuff coming in the future. Everyone's like, oh, we'll be able to rank you one day on Google. I'm like, yeah, well, it's not that. But
then so will everybody else. So then how does that change?
Yeah, and it's just, and then everyone's just throwing 40
Google?
Pieces of content at Google every month per website. Like at some point, Google's gonna be like, yeah, I don't want to index any of this crap. So yeah, good luck.
And if they do keep indexing it, more and more people are going to go to an AI platform to search for what they're looking for than Google anyways.
Right.
Yeah. And Perplexity, I mean, to throw Perplexity in the mix, they offered Google a massive amount of money for Chrome, to buy Chrome. They didn't do it, but they do have their own, what's it called, Josh?
Browser extension.
Yes. Yeah. So now you can use Perplexity instead of using Google Chrome. And I've been testing it out, and it works pretty good. It's not there yet, but it's one of the cool features is that it has a sidebar that you literally can just click it and it ask questions, and it'll go into agency mode or agentic mode, where it'll literally, I could have like a Google spreadsheet open and ask it to analyze the spreadsheet, and it'll just go through the spreadsheet that I have and give me the exact answer I'm looking for. Or say I want a really complex formula built for my Google Sheet. Say I want this to do this, and it'll literally just build the whole formula for me, and like no effort at all. And I'm like, dang, this is slick right here. So it's all coming.
Well, it's not. So we're talking about some things that can be done today, but honestly, it's probably going to happen before the end of the decade. But by the end of the decade, by the end of December 31st, 2029, I have a feeling we're going to have a lot more agentic companies. Meaning, like all of these tools we're talking about, the Service Titans, the Slacks, the Trellos, anything that is a digital tool will be all connected to an AI brain, and we'll have a chat interface to be able to use, like, to literally ask it questions about anything about our company and all of the data we train it on. And the reason I say that is there is it's a consulting agency that we work with is pushing us pretty heavily on agencies right now. And agencies typically, like, regardless of what people think of them, I know marketing agencies are a not so fun topic for contractors to talk about. We generally get the forefront of whatever's coming because of all the digital and the tech type stuff. Like we have to know what's coming and how to use it. But this stuff is coming down the pipeline for us already. And it's becoming to the point, like he was literally telling me there's one agentic company, it's one employee, it's a 7-figure run rate already. And it's one employee doing copywriting, like, and obviously it's AI and prompting and all this stuff. Like it's in order to open your brain up for those possibilities, you have to understand what the stuff that we're talking about, because otherwise your mind is going to literally explode, because you're going to be like, oh my God, I can't even fathom what that might even look like, who I need to hire for those sorts of things. So it is no longer like, I remember back when I started in the trades, like having a CRM was nice, but paper was fine. And then it was like, well, you really should get a digital CRM and a cloud-based one and all this stuff. And it's transitioned to a point like, wait, you're not on a CRM now? Like, it's like that's one of the first things you do when you open a trades business. Like, I know there's still companies on paper tickets. Tersh and I have talked to them, but
We have
it's
with paid fish.
It's
Not
rare.
very many of them though.
It's rare.
No,
Like,
nobody started in the last 10 years and are still using paper and pen. It's
a
older
few.
companies.
There's not many
doing it.
We talked to
We
someone.
were-
We had, oh my God, like I will remember this conversation probably until I lose my memory. But it was a guy who bought a business 2.5 years ago or so, like 6-7 employees, paper, time and material. They weren't even offering, like they didn't even tell the homeowner how much the invoice was going to cost. They billed them like 2 or 3 days later. Like Justin, as if Kristen was around, she'd be like, "What?" But
Hello, AR.
it's still out there.
Oh yes, that was a conversation that we immediately had. We were like, how many times do they not pay it? He was like,
Yeah.
well, about 3 times a week.
Yeah, we got to have that conversation with homeowners. Like, I'm like, that's 150 conversations you shouldn't have to have. But again, we talk about speeding up time and efficiency and like all these things take up brain power, exhausts us mentally. Let's focus for that 8 hours a day or 6, whatever, how many hours a day you work. Let's focus in on things that are actually going to move the business forward and streamline the stuff that's monotonous and boring. And that's really what we're trying to shout it from the mountaintops, because it's worked really well for Tersh and I, and we love it and we nerd out on it. But a lot of people just like, well, ChatGPT can do that for me. And I'm like, no, it can't. It can help. It can help you with ideas and analyzing big data sets and stuff, but it doesn't move data from A to B to C to D. It connects everything. It's a hub to essentially get an answer, and then you still got to do something with that. You got to copy it, you got to paste it, you got to put it here, you got to put it there. Whereas these workflows, for example, and I was looking at one, we haven't implemented this yet. Claude, for instance, is great at writing copy. And we have some really great prompts that I've gotten for writing content. One of the things I found inside of Zapier was when a new topic gets added to a Google Sheets row, automatically send it to Claude with a prompt, gives an output, connects it to WordPress, publishes a blog. Now, I don't know why we haven't implemented that yet, because that sounds freaking amazing. But
That
we're
does sound
looking at,
amazing.
but these are the
This is
things
good.
like, I tend to think we're fairly forward thinking, and I know Tersh does too. These are the things that companies like us are looking into to save time. And then we're going to use the humans that we have to edit, to monitor performance, to guide strategy, instead of sitting here and typing out a 1,500 word blog and doing research and like all the things. We're focused on how do we get the max output for what we pay these people to do. And that's going to be the future. And that's how we increase our profit, keep our overhead low, and we're able to scale much more quickly.
All
Justin,
of that is
have you
exciting
ever
and
heard
terrifying
of-
all at the same time.
And that's the future. And that's why we need to talk about it. We need to have more conversations about it. But like these things we go to, like every time that Tersh and I do a breakout, like, wow, that was one of like the best sessions we've ever attended. But it's limited to like one breakout per conference or a couple breakouts per conference. And then of course, like some of them are still teaching like, what is ChatGPT? I'm like, we're 2.5, almost 3 years removed from what is ChatGPT. We go to an event and we ask, hey, have you used ChatGPT every day or every week? Almost every hand goes up. And then we ask about Zapier, and we got like 5% of people in the audience are like, yeah, I kind of use Zapier. I have like an account. I don't really know what I'm doing.
Signed up
They
for
don't
it.
get things. They don't get the data moving. They just plug in ChatGPT all day, but then they still got to copy, move, paste, try to streamline stuff. And it's still not taking care of the root problem of data entry and moving data.
Tersh, you were starting to say something earlier.
Yeah. External brain. Are you familiar with the external brain concept? So,
but I'm fascinated.
so Josh hit a point. He touched on this earlier on one of his rants. He mentioned the amount of information that you have to store in your brain and the just the exhaustion that comes with that. So there's the concept is called creating an external brain, and your external brain is just a place to dump information, and then you can have it through automation and AI analyze it, and then create even a task or a to-do list. You can use Trello, you can use notes inside of your phone. You really want something that can be accessed via like a Zapier. So one of my favorite ones is to create every time I add a new line on a Google Sheet. So I have like a random Google Sheet that I have saved to my home screen on my phone, and I can just open it up and then just whatever is in my brain, I can just dump it out there. And it's time stamped and everything else. And so then every time, like at the end of every day, it'll create a new task or a new updated external brain of possible to-do lists. Like, because you see some people who have like sticky notes everywhere, or they have to-do lists across their desk that don't get checked off, or they just want to put it on paper. Well, an external brain does that without having to waste your time, because even with your to-do lists that are on your desk, you still mentally you're thinking, oh, I need to go back to this to-do list to check it off because of this to-do list over here or whatever. I need to transfer them over here. But having that external brain, it does it all automatically for you. And so like sometimes when you're laying in bed and your brain's just wandering mindlessly and you can't sleep because you got all this stuff on your mind, you just pop open your phone and say, hey, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about that. I have this idea going on. What do you think about doing this? And you can literally just have a conversation with it. And then it analyzes. You can have ChatGPT or any of your LLMs analyze what you're talking about and then create the full, like a to-do list to do. And if you want to go a step above, you can actually take that to-do list and then throw it into ChatGPT and say, hey, every morning at 9 a.m. or whatever time, give me my to-do list with whatever's not checked off. Anything that's not checked off.
That actually sounds like a great idea. I have like 4 to-do lists that I have right now. I have some in Slack. I have some written down. I have some in my email. Somebody click up.
And so like,
I don't get back to any of them.
Exactly. And we're all guilty of doing that. We'll write it down and then you find the to-do list later on and you're like, oh yeah, I really wanted to do that. I forgot about it. Well, I actually created one where it's every single day. I want to say it's like 8 a.m., 8:30. It sends me a notification with the next thing I need to do to my website. So like I went in, I said, hey, why am I not ranking number 1? And then I said, hey, analyze all of my competitors' websites that are on the first page or first and second page or whatever it was. I don't remember exactly. And compare my page to their page and tell me what I'm doing wrong compared to them. And then it gives me a list. And then I say, well, thinking forward to, what's it called? Question answering style websites, which are going to be good for AI chat or AI search. Tell me what I need to fix on my website so that I'm answering more questions for the consumer. And then I said, all right, now you have a list there of 52 things. I want this broken down into one task a week, and I want each one of these tasks broken down into 5 days. So every morning at 8 a.m. or 8:30 a.m., create this task for me to do, and send me a notification. So then it sends me a notification every single morning of what the task of the day is. And I find that to be rather helpful. But you have to be careful also, because if you start getting the same exact email over and over and over again, then you tend to ignore it. So it's in your best interest to make sure that you are doing what you're asking ChatGPT to help you with.
And that's operating at a crazy high level, high performance. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
So let me ask this.
Yeah.
For anybody listening, right? And and most of us own home service businesses. What is one automation that they could implement today that could help move the needle? Like, what's an easy one-step automation?
I would say it's usually the first one that we share with people. It's
Yep.
because we all know that we have to get Google reviews, but the problem with Google reviews is they only live on Google. So, and the second part is we know we have to reply to those, and replying to those with AI, which honestly the reply, I know people will fight. I've had people fight me on this. The replies on AI, when I go and look at their manual ones that they've done, are so much better. It's so much more empathetic, and it's more thorough and complete. Like it gives like 2 or 3 sentences versus like, thanks for the review. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't, it's like, okay, somebody just literally went into like copy paste. And I used to do that. I was like, I don't know what to say, especially 5 stars with no comments. That was the first automation I ever built in my life. Was 5-star reviews with no comments. I wanted to rotate replies so that way I didn't have to answer those because I hated those reviews. I'm like, I don't know what to say to you.
I mean,
like, I don't really know what to say to you except for like, thank you. So I'm just like, just rotate. Here's like 10 pre-built responses. Just rotate through these 10. And it worked pretty well, but sometimes it didn't. It was early on. It was like 6-7 years ago. But so the other part of that is because you're already getting the data from the review, create a social media post highlighting that review. So it goes to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. If you got any followers on Twitter, maybe not necessarily for the trades. I think we had like 8 followers when I built that. But let everybody know that you do 5-star work. And you don't have to manually do it. I mean, and you can create options. Like some people are like, oh, I don't want to automatically post something to face. I get it. You can send yourself an email with options, and you can just have your marketing coordinator. This is where like the lines between automation and delegation can really blend and become a really powerful system. Is you automate to a certain point, right? Maybe we don't want to automatically reply to reviews with AI. We want to look at 2 options. And Tersh has done this he did this for a buddy of his. Where he was sent it to the marketing manager, and those 2 review replies, he was literally, after about a month, he let him automate it because he was literally copying and pasting the review replies. He's like, yeah, these are great. So start that way, but then you can also do social media posts and create posts that are designed for each platform. So Instagram's a little different than Facebook, which is different than LinkedIn, but have those posts and just make that content creation piece where you only have to come up with like 1 or 2 really good pieces a week, easy. Where you're sharing a picture of your team training or your picture of a new install and a happy customer with a yard sign or whatever. But promote that stuff everywhere. And that literally, think about it. People are on Facebook groups. They're on Nextdoor communities. They're on all these other places outside of Google that they find business information on. Get the information on there. It's really not that difficult. Now we can automate that. So now we're trying to find more customers in more areas. And the outcome of what us doing that is we dominated Google. This was the professional services when I worked there. Then we ended up, by the time I left, we dominated local Facebook groups. We got a ton of business from local Facebook groups, and the 60 to 70% of the recommendations were us because we constantly told the world we're amazing. So everyone's like, we would have people recommend us that never hired us because we kept telling them how amazing we were. And they're like, yeah, these guys got to be great. I see it all the time. So just something simple like that can grow your business, and you don't have to spend any more money on marketing. So that's why we always share that one first. It's like the possibilities are huge there.
Yep.
So now anybody who's listening, who's like at that beginner, who's like, I've got ChatGPT or what's Zapier, I'm assuming the Skool group is a really good place to get started with you guys, right?
We go
so how would they find out more information about that?
We start at very basic level. What is Zapier? Yep. How to find if your tools connect through Zapier. We give you homework on the first couple lessons of like, take 2 tools. We even show you how because Zapier is fantastic at coming up with ideas. They have like probably hundreds of thousands of ideas. And they also list the most popular ones too. So ideas that you don't even think about, they have listed on their site. And I've found that Claude one, I literally looked up Claude and I was like, well, that was the first one. I'm like, that's a really good one with the blog post and going to WordPress. I'm like, just didn't populate in my head because I wasn't thinking of it. So it's a very powerful tool. We teach you how to do that stuff. And then, of course, we go deeper into the different CRMs. We have, 80, 90, 100 templates for Sarah, House Call Pro, and Service Titan users. So you can go into that module and you can literally like swipe and deploy something that's already built. You just follow the steps, put it in your account, and you're good. And you can start launching it right away. So it's from basic to
the Skool group?
Advanced.
How do they go about finding the Skool group?
It's Automation Foundation inside the Skool community.
Yeah, you just do a search.
But I can send a link. I can send a link to you as well.
Tersh's ugly mug is on the video.
Yeah, and we'll put all that in the show note too.
Yeah. Make sure you highlight that I said Tersh's ugly mug is on the video. So everyone's like, oh, it's that guy.
This is,
we tried to, we really should try to use an AI model instead of Tersh, but we haven't gotten there yet.
That looks good. It's great.
It seems a little more on brand if you used an AI model. Just kind of seems more on brand.
You know, the problem is like, I tried doing a thumbnail. I was doing this on the weekend. Normally my team creates all my thumbnails for videos for stuff that we do at Relentless, but I was like, it's the weekend. I just want to get this done. And so I created one and I put a picture of myself, but the eyes look really weird. Like they don't know how to differentiate the color in your eyes. So like the white versus like the actual color, it just makes them like, it almost looks like alien eyes. I don't know how else to describe it. And then I was, Everett Lipple he took headshots that were sent to him and created like AI generated versions for this like top 40 under 40 thing. My God, man, I got ripped apart with my AI generated one. It just looked bad. I don't know if I would not try images of yourself yet unless if you find a tool, let us know what it is because they are not very good right now.
They make great images, but just an image of yourself, not the greatest.
Yeah. Don't do a human image. They just the subtleties of our face and everything. It just can't quite do that yet.
So now with the upcoming event, how would somebody get more information that wants to attend the event? Assuming it's not sold out yet, it could already be sold out when this goes live. But if it's not, how would they get more information on it?
Tapintothefuture.ai. All the information is there. How to get in touch with us is there.
Information on the speakers, the sponsors, all of the agenda, all that stuff will be on that website.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, guys, any closing thoughts before we wrap up?
If you are doing something more than 3 times manually every single week, optimize it, automate it, and if you can't automate it, delegate it.
We're going to talk a lot more about that at the event.
Well, I'm excited, guys. Thanks for coming and hanging out. And well, actually, we'll see you guys. Let's see, you'll be at Service World as well. You guys are doing one of the keynotes, which is very exciting. Congratulations!
Thank you.
So we'll be rooting. I'll be doing the wave out there for you guys.
You'll be the one guy in the crowd that we're looking at.
Yeah,
that's it. Lock in, boys. Lock in. All right, we appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Justin.
You've been listening to the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. Information is useless if not applied. So take what you've learned and go and implement it. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on social media at Freedom Blueprint for Home Services and hit the website at www.freedomblueprintpodcast.com. See you next time.